Hello, everybody. Welcome to the HoNReplays.org tournament. This is another one of the amazing Sunday tournaments that they do for us. Your host here, Insane Rabbi, with his good friend Con88. Go ahead and say hello, boss.
How's it going?
Our cameraman today is Calneon. He's actually been the cameraman so far for the last 2 or 3 rounds that I've casted, and good job so far. 188, I believe you casted the Fnatic MSI team last game. What style of play did they go for, or how exactly did they win?
Well, first of all, they banned Ophelia. First ban was Ophelia, exact same ban as last game. Then they kind of went for a push, and they got counterpicked out of that, so they moved out of the push strat and they went for a more balanced lineup. And in the end, they just kind of they had Pestilence and Valkyrie as a semi carry, and Valkyrie got very farmed, and Fighter got really tanked up, and there was a couple. It was a really exciting game actually, and there was a couple of turnarounds. Button Bashers had the people that were playing Button Bashers were playing a heavy gank setup, and then about 30 minutes in, MSI kind of turned the game around with Defiler getting a quad kill, and he was totally tanked up after that. And then after the quad kill, they get a Kongor, and then after that, they got a tower kill, and then it just kind of snowballed, and they won about 10 minutes later, about 15 minutes later.
Sounds good. So it was a good mid-game play by Fnatic, which you're looking at Pestilence, you're looking at Defiler, your mid to late game is going to be pretty strong. Button Bashers is a European team, right? Didn't they have Loda?
Yeah, Loda. I don't know what Loda. Usually he is on the team, but I've never seen him play in a game replay tournament. I don't think.
Gotcha. Because I would assume European style, they probably ran a lot of early int aggression type stuff, and as long as you survive as Defiler to the mid game, you're probably going to win that game.
Yeah, they had they pretty much had a heavy initiation ganking team, and then they just have Puppet Master, which didn't do the job by the end of the game. Unfortunately, he didn't get much done.
Right.
And carried by Valkyrie and Pestilence by the end of the game.
Sounds good. Check 6 went with a pretty interesting strat last game. They actually had what I would call a semi-roaming Corrupted Disciple. Around level 4 or 5, considering he had already gotten a kill top lane, it was Corrupted Disciple Blacksmith. He ended up roaming, and it really came through for him. He was a little bit underfarmed, but Soul Stealer mid Chu, the guy was, as always, monster farmer and just destroyed T7H, who actually scrims them a lot and does well against them, from what I understand. Yeah. But they made him look like 1400 EM players. It was bad. So yeah, Check 6 really coming off a huge win. But anyways, let's go ahead. Let's discuss the bans and then the picks. Bans: Kronos, Zephyr, Ophelia, Plague Rider, Demented Shaman, and Accursed. So you're looking at a lot of different heals being banned right now. And then, of course, Kronos for the carrying capabilities, while he still has good early and mid-game. Plague, probably for his ult and his overall lane control via nuke after nuke after nuke. And then Zephyr, because he's just a monster power farmer. And that vector targeting, man, that gust is crazy. But nevertheless, let's go into the picks. They had MSI and Fnatic with the first pick. They elected to first pick Defiler, which, that to me, a little odd. Definitely not a first pick type hero in my opinion, with something like Hellbringer and Blacksmith out there. But, their style, their play. Then, of course, sure enough, 1-2 for the Legion side, which is Check 6, was Hellbringer and Blacksmith. Of course, kind of baiting the Hellbringer Blacksmith, knowing you're going to go Puppet 2-3. The ideal situation with a Hellbringer and a Blacksmith, both of them do magic armor reduction. Then you throw down a Puppet that gets a relatively, I'd say, mid to late game Harkins Blade, and you're talking about 18 negative magic armor. Your nukes are hitting for 175% damage. Your attacks are hitting for 175% damage. And that's instead of being negated by physical or by magic armor. A 300 nuke does 225 damage if it's magic, and let's say you have 50% armor reduction, a 200 damage hit does 100 damage. Well, you do all that magic reduction plus a Harkins Blade, you're hitting for no reduction and then almost twice as much as your base. So that, of course, it kind of maybe baited the Hellbringer and Blacksmith, but can you really bait a Hellbringer and Blacksmith pick? Because Those
like,
two
yeah,
heroes alone are just so monstrous.
yeah, it's like there's such good synergy between them. Like it's not like, oh, we didn't get Puppet, we only have Blacksmith and Hellbringer. It's really not a big deal they didn't get Puppet, especially with Soul Stealer as well. You know, so much magic, he can dish out so much magic damage as well.
Absolutely, 900 just in his first 3 nukes, and that's not counting his ultimate. So we did see the Puppet Master Magnus. Magnus, of course, great row stun, great ultimate, especially once he gets a Blink Dagger to land it much more effectively. Just good hero all around. Then you go back to check 6, and they 3-4'd Slither and Soul Stealer. Slither, I've noticed check 6 uses a lot. It's kind of for the push, kind of for lane control, kind of just generic support. You know, just a good character. You're probably going to look at a 5th pick Behemoth here because that's what they've been doing a lot of.
Oh, really?
Coming from check 6, yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if they go Behemoth here. And really just look at your AoEs. You have Slither AoE, both his ult and his spell. Hellbringer AoE ult, AoE mana void. Blacksmith AoE slow. Soul Stealer 900 AoE and nuke plus his ultimate. You know, a lot of good AoE stuff coming in here, and you're looking at great lanes as well. As for MSI, they actually after going Defiler, Puppet Magnus, then they 4-5 Andromeda Valkyrie. Valkyrie you don't see a whole lot here, although you said last game their Valkyrie played as a pretty good semi-carry, bringing it in to the mid to late game.
Trixie did exactly that last game.
He was hitting a lot of good arrows, I would assume?
It wasn't exactly his arrows, but he was just in the right places and he was ganking well, and he wasn't dying, most important. Well, he actually did really badly in the laning stage, but in mid-game he was ganking really well. And then in the late game, he just had a really good farm. He got a lot of kills, and he picked up a Frostburn, and he was the guy who picked up the Token of Life, and he took up he was actually more carried than
the Pestilence.
Yeah, so he did a really good job, and you know, Trixie's a good player. He knows how to play Valk. Andromeda's I haven't really seen a lot of play as well. I mean, the last time I saw Andromeda being played was POL playing them. POL usually have a good roaming Andromeda, so it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully we'll have a roaming Andromeda in this game as well. Always makes it to watch when there's a hero roaming for the whole game, like from level 1.
Definitely action game. Actually, what you're probably going to see here... What?
Tempest. I was just thinking, actually, I'd
you
say
scared
Tempest.
me there.
I was just thinking, oh man, I should have said that. I would look so pro. You were saying Behemoth. I was thinking maybe Tempest, and they picked Tempest. Damn it.
Yep. And you know, Tempest here, I'm not a huge fan of. Not only are they running roaming and high aggression early, but on top of that, especially when you're coming on Legion side, they can place 2 wards to despawn 2 of your creep spawns and still have rune sight. So, and if you play Dota, you can use 2 wards to despawn 3. I think Tempest, he's not a bad pick. I know a lot of people really like him, and obviously his AoE ult goes really well with their current team. But I'm not a huge fan of him personally, because I think he's relatively easily countered. But we'll definitely see how they play it. I mean, they're check 6, they're top team in the world, so I can't wait to see how their Tempest plays.
Yeah, I really like it. I actually really like their team. Check 6, looking at it now, like there's no direct counters from MSI for Tempest, or like there's no Hellbringer or there's no Silence or anything really obvious like that. And the other great thing about Tempest, I mean, he's not one of those heroes that's just as up like Behemoth. Like, he's a really good ganker, and like it really comes into play now since they've like check 6 have a really strong ganking team. They have Slither and they have Hellbringer's ult, which is a really strong, or sorry, not ganking, pushing tool, a really strong pushing tool.
Yep.
Tempest is a really good early pusher, and they can take some towers really early with Tempest's, like the amount of creeps that Tempest can make, and come in and, you know, really quickly take down a tower. And on top of that, he can pick up a Blink Dagger, and his ultimate can be really, really devastating. But yeah, and there's no obvious counters for Tempest, so that's why I was thinking it would be such a good pick if they got it. But yeah, it's easy to counter him with wards and stuff, but it'll all come down to the execution.
Yeah, I think you actually made a very good point there. There is no direct counter. You know, Thunderbringer, you could argue,